Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. This is Rock show with my review of Us. Us is Jordan Peele's follow-up to his directorial debut, Get Out, a movie which I have still not watched. It's in part because of how it's been built up. I want to be able to separate the hype from the movie. But anyway, so what exactly is Us about? It's about a family of four dealing with doppelgangers of themselves while on vacation. I thought it was another entertaining horror movie, and especially enjoyed how it subverts horror tropes while at the same time also using various horror tropes very well. So anyway, so who all's in it? First off, okay, this is actually going to be done in a different way than normal. Anyway, so each actor plays a dual role. They play their character and they play their character's doppelganger. So you got Lupita Nyong'o as Adelaide and Red. Adelaide's a former ballerina, has PTSD from being briefly separated from her parents once as a child. It's also Gabe's wife, mother of Zora and Jason. Red is her doppelganger, and notably is the only one that can talk. Then you got Winston Duke as Gabe and Abraham. Adelaide's husband, Zora and Jason's father, a friend of Josh and Kitty's friend. His doppelganger is Abraham. Not a lot is really established about who he is. What he, I could kind of see maybe a desire to fit in, but I mean, his past is yeah. There's really nothing. There's really little to go by here. Anyway, moving on to Shahadi Wright Joseph as Zora and Umbre. She's the daughter of Gabe and Adelaide, and older sister of Jason. She runs track. Her dad actually does push her to, hope to try and become an Olympic runner. Umbre is her doppelganger, who also runs. That's one of the things with the doppelgangers is that they tend to have. It's not just they look the same; they have a lot of similar traits and abilities too. Evan Alex plays Jason and Pluto. Adelaide Gabe's son, Dora's brother. He likes magic tricks. He wears a mask one way or another almost all the time. Most of the time it's up on his head like this, but sometimes I kind of saw it as being kind of a defense mechanism of sorts for him. He'll have it worn, pulled down. I'm not. I don't want to necessarily say it. He's autistic, but he looks at things differently. It's definitely a case of he looks at things differently than the other characters do. And Pluto is his doppelganger, something of a pyromaniac. We got Elizabeth Moss as Kitty and Dahlia. Really just kind of a stereotypical upper middle class middle-aged wife. She's married to Josh. She's got twin daughters. Her relationship with her husband is rather antagonistic. Usually, publicly, it's amusingly antagonistic. At home, when it's just them and the girls, it's more just openly antagonistic. Dahlia is her doppelganger. Tim Heidecker plays Josh and Tex, Kitty's husband, Gabe's friend. And to be clear, it really does come off more that Gabe is more friends with Josh and Kitty than Adelaide. I think it's more a case of, and I'm pretty sure what it is that Gabe and Josh are friends. Ergo, Josh is friends with Adelaide. Or Josh and Adelaide are friends, and Kitty is friends with Gabe and Adelaide as well. And when in the one time we see them together, Gabe and Josh are doing their thing, or having their thing, catching up, talking, and at the same time, you've also got Adelaide and Kitty talking about themselves. So yeah, that's something we can go into later. But yeah, so yeah, like I said, he's friends. Gabe's friend, owns a boat. Honestly, I think this really applies to both him and his wife, but low key alcoholic. And Tex is his doppelganger. Then you've got Callie Noel Sheldon as Rain and Becca, and Io and Nix. They're the twin daughters of Kitty and Joseph, and Io and Nix are doppelgangers. Anywho, so getting into the spoiler-free breakdown, it opens up in 1986 on the Santa Cruz boardwalk. A younger Adelaide wanders away from her parents and into a hall of mirrors or funhouse, and encounters a young girl who's just like her. Then cuts to the present day. The Wilson family, Gabe, Adelaide, Zora, Jason, arrive at their summer home, and Gabe explains that they'll be going to the boardwalk to meet up with Tyler's, Josh and Kitty. Gabe also reveals that he bought a boat. That's actually one of the more amusing moments in the movie. Him showing off the boat, and everyone is kind of, his wife, son, and daughter all just laughing at him about it. I can't remember if it's in the first night or if it's the next night after the trip to the boardwalk, but after the trip to the beach, where Adelaide actually finally breaks down and tells Gabe about what happened. Anyway, so the next day at the boardwalk, the Wilsons and Tylers hang out, catch up, and as they're getting ready to leave, mainly just because there have been too many just coincidences, and Adelaide's getting a little paranoid. But she can't find Jason. Well, Jason has gone to the bathroom and passed by the Hall of Mirrors / Funhouse thing. Didn't go and pass by it, and actually looked at it. But while he's out there, he sees a guy standing, holding his arms out, a pair of scissors in one hand, and just blood dripping from the other. So anyway, when they get home, you get that bit from the trailers. There's a family in the driveway, and Gabe goes out there like, hey, you gotta go, all right, you know what, hey, you want to get crazy? We can get crazy. Yeah, they said, all right, fine, we'll get crazy then. So, and their crazy is crazier than his crazy. So yeah, they're attacked, and taken prisoner basically by their doppelgangers. And Red, Adelaide's doppelganger, explains what's going on. who they are, and then they all the four duos basically pair off, which leads to various interactions, which admittedly mostly are fighting for trying to beat the other. The scene with Pluto and Jason is very interesting, and you could definitely there are points where you can definitely see how the movie sets a lot of stuff up. Anyway, just go, but yeah, there's various interactions between them as the night and the next day go on with other doppelgangers, such as doppelgangers of the Tylers revealed as well. And also during all of this, we get flashbacks showing bits, kind of filling in, giving us information about Adelaide's childhood, and really establishing a bit of her ballet past and whatnot. And explained that she got into ballet after what happened at the boardwalk that night. She decided to dance, and so yeah, and eventually she was able to get back to a place where she could where she could actually communicate again. Well, verbally communicate. Okay, so upsides and downsides of the movie. On the upside, movie got a very interesting concept. I think it was actually very well executed too. I mentioned that it uses and at the same time subverts various horror tropes. It does so really well. For example, yes, it has jump scares, but it does the jump scares right, and it doesn't rely on, oh yes, we have jump scares. That's how we do it. There's a slow, very it builds up the tension throughout, in part just through Adelaide's reactions to things, to what she sees. And it's kind of, to be perfectly honest, the first, I don't know, half to 2/3 of the movie are the build up, and then once you get to a point where it's built up, and then it just goes all out, and yeah. Like I said, it does so really well. Then also, it's got a solid cast. Every actor does a really good job with both of their characters, with their dual roles. So I do have an addendum to that, which I'll get to with the downsides. But really, the biggest downside I can see my biggest problem with the entire movie is a lot of the characters just really aren't that fleshed out. Hell, go back and listen to how I described the cast, And this is a horror trope that I think could have been subverted. I don't think that it, in most horror movies, it's really only the final girl, the killer, and and maybe the love interest that are fleshed out. At best. And it's not the love interest that's fleshed out so much as it's the children. The children and Adelaide, Zora, and Jason. They get they actually have those that they actually have characters. Gabe, like I said, he's he's not that. He doesn't seem like a fully realized character. And the Tylers, oh God, that they are, yeah. Take stereotypes from, grab some stereotypes from a handful of comedies and copy paste. And it also is a problem. One thing that when it comes to the doppelgangers is that most of them, I mentioned that Red is the only one that speaks. Well, the rest of them just make they shout, or they scream, they holler, they communicate. They kind of communicate the way a lot of animals just grunts, you know. And because of that, it really doesn't help to establish the character. I'm not saying it's bad to look at the character traits and say, okay, well, but when characters have so few traits, it's kind of, yeah. Dahlia's the only trait I can really come up with for Dahlia. It simply comes from the fact that it comes up early that Adelaide had a little bit of plastic surgery last year, and at one point we see Dahlia take her pair of scissors and cut herself with them. Like, okay. Yeah, that's really my biggest problem with the movie is I felt the characters which really were under established, and yeah. So anyway, the final opinions and whatnot. Like I said, well written, well acted, well shot horror movie with an interesting premise and actually kind of surprising ending. I wanted to wait till now to bring that over. Honestly, I say it's definitely worth a watch. I'm probably gonna try. Not for the sake of reviewing, but I'm probably at least going to try and watch Get Out in the near future. But I really am looking forward to more horror movies from Jordan Peele. And I remember hearing after Get Out, I remember hearing somewhere he was planning to do at least a trilogy of horror movies. Get Out, and then this would be the second one. So I hope that that third one is as good as at least this one was. And speaking of how good it was, I gotta give it a 4 out of 5. I mean, even with the problem with the lack of characterization for a lot of the characters, it was still really good. And I mean, it got its point across story wise. Yeah. If you like horror movies, I definitely suggest checking this out. Fairly packed theaters. Hearing the reactions to the people sitting in the same row as me was, yeah. Little screams and shrieks, at various scares. But anyway, that's it for today. For this video. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to hit the bell icon if you know if I want to put up new content, and links to my Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon are in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying live long and rock hard.